children, what are our basic needs? Already we have discussed in previous classes. Once again, remember, what are our basic needs? Food, shelter, clothes. Yes? Roti, kapda, makan. Food, shelter, clothes. Okay? So, these are our basic needs. Can we live shelter without shelter and without clothes? Of course we can. But can we live without food? No. Can we stay without food for 2 days or 3 days or 4 days? Sometimes by drinking some water we can survive. Yes or no? So in food the main important thing also water. So today we are going to learn about that water. This also we have learned about previous classes, but we will learn more deeply about that water and the forms of water also. Okay. What are the main sources of water? From where we are getting water? What is the first source of water? Can you say? Rain. From the rains, the water bodies are collecting water. So, rain is the main source of water. Next, where we can find water? What are the water bodies? Oceans, seas, rivers, ponds, lakes, wells. These are all water bodies, are the sources of water. Simply, we get water from taps. Actually, taps are not the source of water, but the water is purifying and sending through the pipelines, and we are getting water through pipes. Yes or no? Through taps. So, these are the main sources of water, and in this lesson, we are going to learn about forms of water. Forms of water. Do you know the forms of water? I think you have some. You have an idea. You have learned in previous classes. So they are 3 states of matter. Okay, they exist. Water exists in 3 states. First one is solid state. What is the first one? Solid state. And second one is liquid state. Second one is liquid state. And third one is gaseous state. Gas. Solid, liquid, gas. What is the example for that? An ice cube. Ice cube is the solid form of water. Do you know? If you keep water and put in the refrigerator, in the deep freezer, it turns to ice cubes after some time. Yes or no? So, ice cubes are the solid form of water. Next, liquid form is water as usual. Liquid form of water. And gaseous form, we cannot see the gaseous form of water because the bondings among the water molecules will be more distant. So we cannot see gas. Yes or no? We cannot find air. Can we see air without naked eye? No, we cannot see. Okay. These are the forms of water. We will learn more deeply about this from this lesson. Okay. Look here, children. What are they? Clouds, right? Today we are going to learn the formation of clouds and effect of evaporation on that. To understand this well, we should do some activities. First activity, take 2 balls like this. One is shallow dish and another one a glass tumbler. Okay. Take same quantity of water in both the containers and observe for 2-3 days. What happens in that? You will find that in shallow dish the water quantity reduces when compared to the glass tumbler. Why it happened like that? Because the evaporation takes place faster when the surface area is large. If the surface area is large, the evaporation takes place in a faster rate, at a faster rate. What is evaporation? Changing of water into water vapor. Changing of water into water vapor is called evaporation. In previous classes you have learned that. So, shallow dish gets the water in the shallow dish gets evaporated easily. Second activity, wash your hands and get your hands near to the breeze or fan. What you will notice? After some time, you will notice that your hands get dried. How does it take place? What does it mean? This is also a kind of water evaporation, right? So here what happens, when you brought your hands near to the fan, your hands get dried at faster rate. That means the rate of evaporation increases due to the flow of air or breeze circulated by the fan. Third activity, again wash your hands and sit inside a room where there is no fan and there is no breeze at all. Okay? What do you notice? It takes much time to get your hands dry. So what did you notice here? The hands dry slower as there is no air or breeze. If there is air or breeze, our wet hands get dry easily or at faster rate. On a sunny day or after playing much time, we feel sweat, right? So when we get sweat, what do? We sit under a fan. So what happens? After some time, our sweat gets dry. So what happened here? The sweat has evaporated. So by understanding these activities, we can conclude that the rate of evaporation is faster when the temperature is high, when the surface area is large, when there is flow of air. Okay, the rate of evaporation depends on these three causes. Next one, condensation. Take 2 stainless steel glasses and in one glass put some ice cubes. Okay, another one take as empty one. Observe what happens. What will you notice, children? You will find some tiny droplets of water on the glass which is having ice cubes, right? Have you noticed any time or not? Yes. Why does it take place? On the another glass there is no change. But on the glass which is having ice cubes, what happened here? The water vapor cools down and as it comes in contact with the cool surface of the glass with ice, it changes into liquid which is water. Okay. So when there are ice cubes in the glass, what is happening here? The ice cubes, when they are meeting the surface of the glass, okay, the water vapor cools down so that it changes to liquid. That tiny droplets of water we can see on the glass tumbler, on the glass. The process by which water vapor changes into liquid on cooling is called condensation. What is that, ma? Condensation means the process by which water vapor changes into liquid on cooling. On cooling it is called condensation. So this is the phenomena which is happening in the nature, that the property of water to change into water vapor on heating and again turn into liquid water on cooling makes life possible on earth. When clouds become very heavy with water vapor and they cannot hold any more moisture, then they release it in the form of rain or snow. This is called precipitation. This is called precipitation. We can understand some more this topic with some more examples. That is, when we dry clothes, that means the wet clothes, when we dry on a sunny day, they dry at faster rate, isn't it? On the same that same thing when we did on the rainy day, do they dry easily? No, it takes much time, because on rainy day the water is having already water vapor in the air, so that it doesn't cooperate to absorb water easily from the clothes. But on a sunny day, the water, or there is more temperature. So as we learned before, on the day which is having heat, more heat, the temperature, it absorbs easily the coldness or the water vapor or water in the clothes. So they dry easily on the sunny day. So we understood evaporation,
Evaporation means the liquid changes to gas. That means water changing into water vapor. And condensation. That is water vapor changes to water again. That is called condensation. That means gas becomes liquid. And precipitation. That is water or frozen water falling to earth as rain or snow or some hailstones. Vadagallu antam kada. So like that process is called precipitation. So how these are helping in the formation of clouds and rain, let us see. Okay. We all know that sun heat evaporates water from rivers, lakes, oceans, etc. even from the plants placed on the ground. So this creates water vapor where water in the form of gas rises in the air. As the water vapor rises in the air, the surrounding temperature cools, turning the vapor into water droplets. The air is filled with dust and these water droplets collide with the dust and form the clouds in the sky. That's why clouds they appear in as gas balloons that they float in the sky, isn't it? So because they are having dust particles along with the evaporated air. When this process happens repeatedly, clouds get bigger and bigger and water droplets collide together and make the water droplets heavier. Once the water droplets in the cloud are heavy enough, water droplets fall onto the earth. In other words, it rains. That process is precipitation. So this is the process of formation of clouds and rain. In our daily life, we observe that before raining, how the clouds will be dark, right? So clouds, they descend towards the earth's surface and we experience a cool breeze before rainfall. So we can predict that it would be rain. Yes or no? So in very cold conditions, the drops of water turn into crystals of ice and fall as snow. In cold countries and at the pole regions, the water droplets, there itself, they turn into ice. Sometimes big drops of water solidify into ice and fall as pieces of ice. They are known as hailstones. Vadagallu antam vatni. Okay, this kind of weather condition where rain, snow, sleet or hail fall from the sky is called precipitation. Let us see about water cycle or hydrological cycle. Okay. Water cycle is nothing but the continuous journey of water in nature from earth to clouds and back to the earth is called water cycle. This includes the continuous process, that is in step 1, as the sun heats up the water in rivers, ponds, oceans and lakes, it turns water into water vapor and enters into the air by the process of evaporation, right? The water cycle mainly consists of the following process, that is in step 2, at sufficient heights in the sky, the water vapor in the air cools down and condenses to form clouds. And in step 3, what is the step 3 process? Precipitation. So in this step, when too much water vapor condenses, the clouds become heavy and begin to fall as rain or snow or hail. This is called precipitation process. So the circulation of water into water vapor by evaporation, water vapor to clouds and clouds to rain by condensation takes place continuously in nature. Nowadays, atmospheric conditions like deforestation and pollution from factories are not favorable for clouds to get cooled and therefore cause global warming. As a result, there is a decrease in rainfall, disruption of the water cycle and either floods or droughts are caused. Children, have you ever thought or have you ever wondered that where does the water go from the rains and from the snow? What is happening with that water? The rainwater and snow flow into the rivers and streams which ultimately fall into the sea or ocean. And snowfall also turns into water and they too form rivers or lakes, and again they also mix up with the sea water. That means they too include with the sea water. they flow into the seas or oceans. However, these are all getting from the rain. And not only that, some water, the water which falls into the rivers or water bodies, that is waste for us, but the part of rainwater gets absorbed by the soil. This water is available to us as groundwater, that is which we get through wells and rivers, lakes, all these. So the decrease in the level of groundwater is due to overuse by people and reduction in seepage of rainwater. Then we get shortage of groundwater. But to get that increase in groundwater level, the level in the groundwater, we must save the water or conserve the water. Because the water or rain falls into the oceans and rivers, that will be wasted. But the water which is seeped into the ground, that will be used for the later stages. In our country, in monsoon, mostly in the season monsoon, we get more rains, right? Recently we got many rains. If there is no rain, can we stay? No. Can we grow crops? No. But if the water or if the rains occur more, or what happens when it rains heavily, what they cause? An overflow of water bodies beyond their normal limits is known as floods. The heavy rainfall causes floods. Floods destroy the crops and cause damage to property and life as well. Have you ever visited nowadays after these Nivar cyclone, and previously we got many cyclones, no? And at that time we lost too much of crops and most of the rivers were overfilled, and the canals, all these are filled with rainwater. So these are called floods. In our region, if there is no rain for a long period, like 4 to 5 years, what is that time period called? What happens if there is no rain? See, the rivers will dry. Yes or no? No rain for a long period causes drought. What is that situation called, ma? Drought. The prolonged periods of deficient water supply cause drought. Water can only be obtained from natural sources. So we have to use it wisely. We should not waste that water. We have to conserve the water. How can we conserve the water? If you plant more plants and trees, the trees will absorb the water or seeps the water, and they make the rainwater to seep into the ground. The demand for usable water is increasing with growing world population. As the population is increasing, we require more water. So we have to save the water. That is called rainwater harvesting. That is collecting into tanks or letting the water to seep into the ground. That is called rainwater harvesting. So collecting and storing of rainwater is called rainwater harvesting. So the harvested rainwater we can use for the later stages with the pumps and using motors. This will be usable. Rainwater harvesting is done by two techniques. One is rooftop rainwater harvesting, and another is a technique in which the runoff on the ground is used to recharge groundwater. That means we have to let the rainwater to seep into the ground. So for this, what we have to do? We should bring awareness about the bad effects of throwing waste into the water bodies, and we have to and we must recycle the water by separating pollutants. We have to separate the pollutants, then we can reuse that water. And we should minimize the usage of chemical fertilizers in agriculture, which reduces the pollution of underground water. Yes or no? And we have to control the deforestation. Deforestation means the cutting down of trees or cutting of the forest is called deforestation. In place of deforestation, we have to take step for afforestation or reforestation. That means we should plant more trees to conserve water, to obtain more rains. And adopting drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation in agriculture. In this way, less amount of water can be used for irrigation. So we can save the water and we can utilize the water in a proper way for the agriculture. So children, will you follow these steps to conserve water? If we conserve water for the future generations, we can gift water. Otherwise, the future generation, they will not have water even to drink. Already we are purchasing water bottles, right? So in the lateral stages, the next generations, they too should purchase water. Not like with 2 rupees. How we are purchasing like petrol, all these, like that they have to purchase. So children, you are the future and you are the future citizens. Now onwards, we must control wastage of water. You have to instruct your parents, you have to get awareness in your elders. Then they will come to know what will happen if water is wasted. And we also should utilize water in a proper way. Where there is no usage of water, we can use less water. If there is required more water, then we can use. But in the unnecessary conditions, we should not waste the water. Did you understand, children? Once again, watch this video and go through the lesson part, then understand the lesson well. Okay, Nana? Thank you.